you already know I have to kill a little bit of time here. So I just thought I would do the usual and go over announcements. So the first announcement is I have finally completed my pretty cool, well, I think pretty cool, anyways, me, the keychain gym. This is what it looks like. Hangs from your keychain. I regret to inform you it is not 2 ounces. It is a staggering 4 ounces. The reason it's 4 ounces is because it test failed at 40 pounds. The cable broke. The next fail on it was the pulling. I wasn't happy with how it was performing above 50 pounds. And then the next fail was 70 pounds, and that was the Velcro strap. So while 70 pounds is a lot, I would still only recommend taking it up to 40 pounds. I don't like that. So what I did was replace the pulley with a slightly larger one, and I do mean only slightly larger, a slightly larger cable, 3 millimeter, as well as making sure that the fasteners at the end of the cable were better. I improved the strengths of the clamps just to be safe, and I also made a, again, slightly bigger Velcro strap and altered the actual keychains I was using throughout the device. The bag has changed. It's now a nylon bag instead of a fabric bag. The nylon bag is smaller and actually holds more. Stress tested with sand, and I couldn't actually put enough in there for it to break. I couldn't even tell. It holds at least 75 pounds. It never actually broke. I imagine it would break if it was frayed over years or you kept dragging it on concrete or doing stupid things with it. It'll eventually fray over time, but the bag itself is, again, only a $2 replacement from Amazon, so no worries there. Let's see here. So moving forward, oh yeah, I'm sorry. So the keychain gem will be going on my Etsy store. I'm not sure when, sometime this week, as well as the designs for how to make one yourself. The keychain gem is also going to be going with my latest set of flashcards. It just demonstrates how to use the keychain gem anywhere for any exercise. Those are just going to go with it. Obviously, I can possibly make it for you guys. But again, I really do recommend just making one yourself. They're not hard to make. They're fairly easy to make. If you want to buy one from me, cool. It helps me. It supports the channel, etc. But again, if you make it yourself, it will be significantly cheaper. I have a multitude of videos how to make up to like 10 different variations of this, including a full home gym. It's very easy to understand. I have all the flashcards to go with it. I mean, I suppose just shameless promotion. If you print these flashcards out, they're big, they're easy to understand. Each and every exercise is spelled out for every muscle in your body that you have to train. This is for bodybuilding, people just want to get in shape, etc. Again, you go to the Etsy store, you got all my books there. I mean, again, I wrote them. I think they're pretty cool books. I personally think if you have these books, you have just about all of the information you could need. I got the trackers to actually track your progress the same exact way I do, as well as most of my clients. You got, I mean, if you're handicapped, if you got these guys, there's just, I don't know, there's a lot of shit. Check out the Etsy store. I'm trying to get better at marketing and promoting my stuff. As you can see, I'm terrible at it, but that's okay. You guys should just check it out. It's $1, $5, $10 is what you spend on coffee or breakfast or lunch sometimes. But if you spend it on this, you get the digital copy, stays with you forever. You can print it out. Information, as you know, I say constantly, but knowledge is power. The portable gym, I haven't been able to test it for a prolonged period of time, but I can guarantee you that even with several months of use, it won't be broken or frayed or anything else, provided you're not being an idiot about it. But anyways, let's see if I have any questions just yet. I don't, although I might, to be fair. Sometimes, guys, just bear in mind if you do put your questions in the comments, it might take me a second to see them. It takes time to load, etc. But just put your questions in there regardless. Doesn't matter what the question: hormones, proper training, how to build a home gym, respiratory, postural corrections, myths. Any of my previous videos, Mythbusters, if you're a client, I mean, you're on here for some weird reason, chime in about whatever, it's all good. I am an open book with just about everything, and if I don't know the answer, I'll just tell you I don't know the answer. I'm kind of like the Google for exercise and fitness, though, I suppose. It's a pretty arrogant thing to say, but I'm not half bad anyways. But moving forward, guys, this is going to be another probably only 30-minute episode. And the reason for that was I was unaware of it myself till this morning around probably 4 a.m. That there's a time change. So guys, might be less people because of the time change. Oh, I got a question coming, guys. Here we go. All right, so Castle, in your workout, how many muscle groups do you work each workout, and how many sets per each muscle group are you doing? It changes depending on what I'm shooting for at that moment. So this is going to be a brief summary of my own personal plan, but just bear in mind that my personal plan is significantly more complex than most people's, just because I have more information and I'm able to apply it correctly, easily, myself. So my personal plan at the moment, with all the information I have currently, is 6 days a week. I train 3 days on, I take 1 day off. I train 3 days on, I take 1 day off. Follow, that's all it is. Now the 3 days on, 1 day is arms day. Another day, the next day, is leg day. The third day is core day. Now, I'm going to be really clear here. When I say training, I'm referring to musculature development training. I keep my endurance, my cardio, my stretching, all of those things, my plyometrics, that kind of stuff, I refer to in a different way. That is cardio training, that is explosive training. That is not exercise as I would term it for bodybuilding purposes. So I'm specifically referring to muscle building. If it's arm day, just a quick run through. It's forearm flexors, forearm extensors, then it's biceps, triceps, front delt, rear delt, lateral delt, and upper traps. Now, I do what most people I think would consider a warm-up set, but that's because they don't understand what I'm doing. The first set, what I'm doing for each and every one of these exercises is I have a weight which allows me to get very close to failure, around 30 to 40 reps. What this does is it pumps my muscle full of all the vitamins, nutrients, blood, etc., sarcoplasm I'm going to need for my next couple sets. That's the first set of arms. So I go through that whole rotation, then I go back to the beginning. Now when I go back to the alone, I'm not going to adjust the weight at all. However, the first set, my tempo was 1.5 seconds up, 1.5 seconds down. My second set, the tempo is going to be 1 second up, and then 5 to 6 seconds lowering of the weight. Now, because of this, the set time is going to be the same, but I'm probably only going to get between, give or take, 15 or 16 reps, even though it's the same weight. And that's because I'm changing the time under tension. Then the third set, I'm going to select a very heavy weight in each category, heavy being something I'm only capable of performing 5 to 6 reps with, and this particular style. It would actually be a weight I'm only able to do once perfectly. But this particular style is heavily focused on the eccentric portion. It's something called omnicontraction style, and I'll be doing 5 sets. I have videos on this, by the way. I'll be doing 5 sets, 5 reps per set for each muscle group of that, again, start to finish. Now, by doing it like this, and by the way, I do it, one second, I do it here. I mean, there's my, I think you guys can probably see everything. This is my gym. I do it all here. And I mean, depending on the day and how quick I'm moving, it's anywhere from a 20 to 30-minute workout at the very most. I mean, and that's at the very most. Now, my next day would be legs. And let me just see if there's any other questions. If not, I'll keep going with this. Okay, cool. Another question. I'll keep going with this. So then my next day would be legs. Very simple for legs. I have quads, hamstrings, calves, tibius anterior, abductor, adductor, and glutes. That's my leg day. Now, it's the same thing as arms. Nothing changed. First set I do is kind of, whatever you want to call it, a rapid fire, a 1.5 second up, 1.5 second down set. Allows me to get 30 to 40 reps. Rotate all the exercises back to the top. Do it again, but this time with a slower tempo, more eccentrically focused. And back to the top. Do it again. This time will be omnicontraction, and also it's going to be unilateral pull. And Very occasionally quads. If I'm doing sissy squats in my doorway, I'll have both legs going at the same time. I can't do a single leg with that. Well, until I get stronger quads anyways. And then the third day would be core day. And you guys can imagine core day, I have chest, obliques, both crunches as well as twists, one for my spine, one for the secondary function of my spine, the lateral, one for the rotational aspect, which actually helps with my ribs. That's a twist. Very important movement, by the way, guys. People don't do it enough. Sorry, then I have my lat pull, and so has on ab day as well, but that's for a different reason. It has nothing to do with my abs. I just choose to train what you guys would know as a hip flexor on this particular day. And then I have a day off. My day off, though, is usually active recovery. I'll spare you what that is, but it's a lot of stuff I enjoy doing, but it's recovery stuff. Let me see if there's any more questions, guys. Okay, so according to you, what is the hardest body part to develop and you struggle to build? Does genetics stop you from developing them even if you train hard and correctly? Yes, of course, of course. I'm not special. Fuck. Every bodybuilder in history, every bodybuilder who's ever existed, every athlete, every gym rat, every random guy who's ever tried to build his physique has had certain issues with building certain parts of his body. I would count myself as actually being lucky. And the reason for this is I got the knowledge of biomechanics about 8 years ago. Still a bit hard to talk about, but just bear with me. It was very kind of Mr. Brignoli. A lot of you guys know he was a good friend of mine. He mentored me for 8 years, a long time. He didn't have to do that. But anyways, he took me under his wing, started teaching me biomechanics. And I had already been lifting for a good 10 years at that point. But it was all deadlift squats and stuff. And I always had lagging triceps, lagging hamstrings, and a lagging overall back, in my opinion. And that was actually for obvious reasons. I wasn't training my back very efficiently, and I wasn't training my hamstrings efficiently. And when I got the biomechanical knowledge, I applied it. And, well, I mean, simple to say, from that point forward, almost all of my exercises were at least mostly correct for a long time for each and every single body part. With all the latest hypertrophy knowledge, which has come out the last 3 or 4 years, which I stay up on, of course, as you guys know, I've been able to advance my training even further. I personally understand how genetics come into play, as well as the bone length, structure, different kinds of muscle fibers, everything that comes into play with it. Genetics are always a limiting factor. There's nothing you can do about that. Your genetics are your genetics. They are what they are. Your body is your body. A great example everybody knows is your abs. You don't have upper abs, you don't have middle abs, you don't have lower abs. You have an ab. It's muscle. It's divided by ligaments and tendons. Now, these are genetic and unalterable, meaning if you got a 6-pack, you get a 6-pack. If you got a 7-pack, you got a 7-pack. You got an 8-pack, you got an 8-pack. You do all the crunches in the world, you're not going to be able to increase the notches of abs on your particular striated ab muscle. It's not going to happen. So it's the same thing with the rest of your body. Some people just naturally have smaller muscle bellies in certain areas. Shorter people are, me and Jerry Brandon, we're just chatting about this. Shorter people are always going to look much more muscular, and they're also going to have much heavier weight on the bar. Now, this heavier weight on the bar is actually just because they have shorter levers or shorter bones, which obviously less magnification than a tall person. Because of the tall person, the nature of the bones, my arms look tiny. When they're all stretched out, they look quite small. But then when you actually get the contraction, they bunch up, they look at least decent sized. But it's not going to be the same as your traditional style bodybuilders who win competitions. They're always about 5'8", 5'7", 5'9" at the very most. There's not many bodybuilders who win competitions over 6 foot. Yeah, there's some guys, relax, but there's really not that many. It's hard to do. It's hard to pack on that much muscle with such a big frame, unless you have the genetics for it or you're willing to take an awful lot of drugs and food. But that being said, there's really no way to train a lagging muscle. Me and Doug had a lot of videos where we talked about the inability to train a lagging muscle. Unfortunately, the best you can do is properly train every muscle with the correct frequency, the correct intensity, keep your diet, your stress, your sleep, your hormones, everything as best as possible, and then just be consistent. The results, other aspects of performance. People spend so much time focused on improving their muscle Your heart is the most important muscle in your body. If your cardio is down, if you don't have very good cardio, that's limits. Okay. Improving your actual flexibility is going to translate to greater force production in the gym. What about training your tendons? How many of you guys train your tendons? How about your explosivity? How about the different kinds of muscle fibers you have? There's different ways to train those different muscle fibers. You guys doing multiple different ways to train your muscle fibers? I mean, all of these things are very important. It's not just a matter of let me get big biceps, at least not in my opinion. I think you should go for the whole package and overall, as intelligent as possible, as logical as possible approach to your training style. You want to have the best body, the healthiest biological machine. That's going to increase your performance in all areas. And I don't just mean the gym. You'll be more confident, more intelligent, you'll have a better memory, you'll have better relationships, you'll be in a better mood, you'll take more risks, you're at a higher point of the hierarchy. I could keep going, guys. I mean, let me see if there's more questions. I want to cut myself off here. Okay, so what's the best rest period for a muscle group? Is it the same for quads versus pec? And is it good to stay a little bit? A lot. Okay, so that's a lot. So what is the best rest period for each muscle group? That depends on the desired effect. So just short, that one, check out the latest video I put up, not latest, sorry, but a couple of videos back I put it up. It's the Ultimate Hypertrophy Guide, as well as practically applying it as well. And I cover just about all of that subject you just put there, the best rest period for a muscle group. It's all covered in there. The thing is, depending on your style of training will dictate how long you want to rest. More rest is not necessarily better. For example, if you're trying to expand, let's just say the muscles, like if you want to expand the muscle cells, just to keep it simple, you have minimal rest time. If you're looking for increasing tendon strength, you want a lot of rest time. If you're looking to increase explosivity, you want a lot of rest time. I mean, again, it varies on what you're trying to do. So let's just, if you guys are curious, it's a 30-minute lecture I just put up. It's all about hypertrophy. It's all of the latest science. It's summarized. It's just the Ultimate Hypertrophy Guide, and obviously by Coach Castle. Definitely give it a good listen. I also put the guide up on the Etsy store for like $1 as well, but it's extremely comprehensive. It's not like my 30-minute video. It's quite comprehensive. But anyways, now is it the same for quads versus pecs? Okay, now I will address that briefly because I don't think I got into that hypertrophy video. But bear with me, guys, because we're actually going to have to address the mental aspect as well. So a lot of people are unaware of this, as the predominant kind of theory for a long time is basically if an athlete wants it bad enough, provided their muscle doesn't run out of glucose and or they can deal with the pain of the lactic acid buildup and all the other waste products, etc., they will be able to give a maximum effort. But that's not true. So simply by taking somebody and having them perform a difficult intellectual task, fatiguing them mentally before having them engage in athletic competition, significantly adds their energy reserves. On top of that, even athletes who are performing high levels, extremely intense bouts of exercise, what they themselves would clarify and testify as being their best, their very maximum effort, where they fall over with exhaustion and fatigue afterwards, only about 40 or 50% of their muscle fibers have actually been engaged. And there has never been any research which dictates any correlation between lactic acid in the muscles and the need to actually stop. There's never any research literature which has ever indicated any of these things. So the whole theory has been done its head. The new theory, and what it is essentially, and I know I'm going to be getting to it in a second, but you got to stay with me for a second here, okay? So what it is essentially is your brain basically takes its previous expectations of performance, its memories from past performances, its expectations of what is reasonable, what it has seen, etc., these things, and it combines them to form a belief of what you'll be able to actually do. This is actually a self-limiting belief. Now, it is obviously evolutionarily intelligent to have, because unless it's a life or death situation, you don't actually want to engage all of your muscle fibers and put the body under that kind of strain. We know what happens. Think about the mother who lifts the car off their child, that lady, the teenage girl in Australia who lifted the fire truck off her father. These are all examples of something called ludicrous strength. And it basically is just your body goes into life or death mode. It triggers everything, takes all the limiters off, and you're able to perform these extreme feats. The issue with it is after performing these extreme feats, you have broken teeth, a misaligned jaw, you have mentally being a fucking self-appointed narcissist. I remember a time when it was considered embarrassing to take a picture of yourself. Nowadays, it's weird if you don't take 5 of those a day. Tangent, sorry. But back to the question. So it's not running the muscle out of glucose. It's not a buildup of waste products in the muscles. And it's not just your mind. It's all three working together. So put it to you simple, because you use the example of pec and quad. Let's just say some guy hates leg days. Just hates leg days. It's a very common thing I run across all the time. People don't like leg days. So let's just say some guy, he hates leg days, but guess what? He's a bro. So he loves chest day. Well, I guarantee you on chest day, because he's known for his chest day, 100% max out effort, banging out his chest with all kinds of, well, probably inefficient exercises. And he'll probably be going maximum intensity, all the gym bros around him screaming, okay? Now, what about when he goes to do quad? Probably he was scheduled to do legs twice that week, and he chose to skip one to go to breakfast one day, and then he's dragging his ass to the gym to do quads the next day. Do you think he'll be training his quads with the same intensity as he was training his chest? No. So in this particular case, his mind is going to be overpowering his other parts of his body. He's going to say, hey, yeah, we're tired. In case, pretty sure his mind would be telling him his legs are tired much sooner than they are. In reality, no one, as far as I know, has ever seen any individual who's able to push themselves to a maximum effort. So when it comes to training and actually exhausting a particular muscle group, or how long you should wait, how long you should rest, etc., the best advice I can give you, long story short, is go into every exercise prepared to go to war. Stop a couple reps short of failure, meaning where your form starts to break down, basically, and then rotate through all of your other exercises and come back to that one. If you do that, it's going to have a good 6 to 8 minutes of recovery time. That is more than ample time. It's plenty of time. Lots of times people will simply associate a little soreness, tenderness, a swelling of the muscle, an uncomfortable feeling with the need to stop. This is obviously not a need to stop. Even when you do stop, you don't need to stop. You choose to stop, etc. This is why training to failure occasionally is so important, in my opinion, because going to absolute failure, you know where your limitations actually are and how far you can actually put yourself with the reps and reserve scheme. But anyways, it's a long tangent. So let me get on to your next question real quick. Is it good to train each day a little bit? Provided you're not hitting the same muscle every day. So that could be a little complicated. So let's just say it's good to train every day, provided you're cycling kind of the way I do. So you have like your arms, and then they have 4 days to recover. Or if you're training if you're training sub-failure or even sub-reps in reserve, then I don't really know why you're training, aside from the fact that you might be practicing the movements, you might be rehabbing, you might be learning movements, whatever it may be. Then you could totally do that every day. Just make sure you don't go to anything near a level of difficulty. That's cool. But these people you say who talk about you have to train your abs every day, they're fucking like freak is just going to overtrain your abs and frankly fry your central system. So no, you should never do that. And before anybody says it, the German squat volume training thing, that's a whole different program. They don't look as productive if they were to do it with correct frequency. I've talked about that in other videos as well. The hypertrophy method of squatting every single day. It's not as effective as training with correct frequency and hypertrophy. It's not. It's effective. I'm going to up the usage. Well, for the usage of nutrition, just you're cool if you do it once per workout, one set per a partner to help you out too, as you know. Let's see here, what are the questions I got? I'm not having questions from but in terms of the omni contraction, just to keep going while I try to get you guys comments back here, You don't want to do it too much. It is extremely taxing on your central nervous system. And if at any point in time you're starting to feel that your tendons are feeling sore from the activities you're performing, so say you're doing the omnicontraction for your quads and you notice your knees hurting, or your triceps, your biceps omnicontraction, and you notice the tendons in your elbow starting to hurt, just back it off. Like, just, you don't have to do it. Take a break. Okay, there we go. Ba, ba, ba. So, okay, and next question here. Have you tried doing shrugs with your arms at about 30 degrees away from your sides? Emailed you a few weeks ago about doing shrugs. I found a way to figure out where you should. Yeah, I did. I tested them out after you mentioned that to me. It was good, but I use dumbbells for shrugs, generally speaking, so I'm not going to keep doing it. But yeah, I got no issues with that. Workout is Monday, biceps, triceps, shoulders. Tuesday, legs. Yeah, so you sound like you're doing good then, Bobby. Randall, just stand straight and shrug as high as you possibly can. Then straighten your arms and point your index finger. No, not the best idea, Randall, because if you stand as straight as you can, then you're not putting the traps in the optimal position to be contracted. I address this all the time. But when you're doing a shrug, you guys have to remember, muscles pull insertion to origin in a straight line most effectively. And when I say effectively, I mean you're looking for a maximum contraction with maximum force production, as well as inside of the correct resistance curve. So what you want to do is actually lean forward about 10 or 20 degrees, positioning the back of your neck actually opposite the resistance, then pulling your shoulders as high to the back of your neck as you're able. That would be a much more effective strategy, including if you are using cables to the side, you still want to have that forward lean because you still want the resistance opposite, again, the back of your neck. That's where the origin actually is. If the origin was up here on top of your head and you look like a fucking cobra person with a big hood here, then yeah, I would say you're absolutely right to stand upright and pull your shoulders up like this. However, that is not full range of motion. It is not insertion to origin. It's not a full contraction. And it's also not the correct resistance curve. Furthermore, it's eventually over time going to be damaging your clavicle and your shoulder cradle. So moving forward, Coach Council, I'm a handicapable battling muscle. I don't have a really bad case. I was once told a bit ago that I was a retard and people like me shouldn't be in the gym because you drop things, and we should have, as he called it, the retard's gym. Are you fucking serious? Well, Kevin, dude, you know that's not true. I mean, frankly, come on, man. I'm not to be making light of this, but Kevin, that is absolutely not true. And anyone who said that, frankly, I would be surprised if somebody said that. I mean, depending on the area. I'm not questioning you. It's just I would be shocked. I would be shocked is a better word. I'd be shocked if I saw somebody say that. I would be shocked, and then, I mean, frankly, I would handle matters myself. I would probably intervene. That person, frankly put, is a son of a bitch. They are a pathetic piece of shit, and they should go fuck themselves. That is the nicest possible thing I could say about them. I do not ever run across anyone who would say that. I've never been in a gym where that was the case. Just about every gym I've ever been in, I routinely see handicapped people in the gym. I see people with one arm, with one leg. I see people with fucking bird faces, with fake hearts. I see people with walkers. Christ, I've seen it all. Again, perhaps it's my area, but I've been all over the place. And it's very rare that you will ever see a gym where somebody behaves like that or says that, for that matter. That's pretty insane. That is not the norm. People do not normally behave like that. People do not normally think like that. Whoever that person is, there's something wrong with them. I have no idea why anybody would say that to you. You need to keep going to the gym and doing your thing. Now, typically, I would actually normally, in your circumstance, I would recommend you learning biomechanics at home. Again, I have a set of flashcards for that. I have a whole series about how to properly train yourself at home for no money if you're handicapped. Long story short, you really should check it out. But I would recommend typically that you train yourself at home, not because you get in the way of other people, but because I know what a hassle it is for you guys to go to the gym. It takes considerable time to prepare yourselves, to put the wheelchair, to get the van, to put it in the back, however you have to get to the gym. Then you have to get to the gym, and then all the gym equipment at the gym is not really designed for you, so it's annoying. So I would typically say work out at home, save yourself half an hour of trouble and heartache. But in your case, I would say, no, fuck that. Go to the gym, and I hope you run into that guy again. And when you do, you really need to tell him to go fuck himself very firmly. I'm very serious. And you need to keep working out of that gym, and you need to keep inspiring other people. And by all means, please keep that piece of shit in your mind, because he'll be a good source of inspiration for you. But no, I just want you to know, normal people don't behave like that. I've never met anybody who really behaves like that. That's somebody with something fucking wrong with them. But sorry, I don't want to harp on that too much. Dude, no, and also, well, he was 18 or 19. Oh, come on, fuck him. He's a kid. What a fucking loser. If he's 18 or 19, try to look at it from an empathetic perspective. Try that. Because as an 18 or 19-year-old, when I was 18 or 19, I was a piece of shit. I was an arrogant little cocksucker. I was a chef at the time, working at a Michelin-starred restaurant. I thought I was king shit. I had no time or patience for anyone. I was self-absorbed. I was narcissistic. I was egocentric. I had a massive ego. And I probably would have said something similar. I don't ever think I would have said that to a handicapped person, but maybe if I saw some person that I considered to be like a meathead or something doing some really stupid exercise, I probably would have said something stupid like fucking idiots like you shouldn't be in here. I never would have said to a handicapped person, but I mean, put in perspective with empathy. If he's 18 or 19 and he's behaving like that, he probably had not the best parents. On top of that, he's raised his entire life with technology, which has really warped his brain and has really made him very selfish and narcissistic and unable to see other people's points of views. You have an advantage where you as a handicapped person have several advantages. One of them is you have different perspectives now and a greater sense of empathy for others. So just try to empathy with this kid. I still think you should tell him to go fuck himself so he can learn that there are consequences to actions. And you will haunt his dream as the guy that told him to go fuck himself. He won't forget you. But at the same time, just understand he's an 18 or a 19-year-old boy. There's no way a woman said that. Boy. And I do mean that. He's going to be an idiot. He's going to be a cocksucker. And if I was a cocksucker as I was raised a while ago, if I was raised in today's day and age, I wouldn't be Coach Castle. I'd probably be living on the street or I'd probably be dead. I have a lot of empathy for today's kids nowadays with all the research coming out, what's actually been happening to them and shit. I'm not going to get into it. This isn't the time for it, but just understand it's not common. It's not normal. I feel for you. Use it as spite. Use it as fuel. Keep hoping to run into him. Maybe go to the gym more often in the hopes that you fucking run into him one day. Prepare yourself. What are you going to say to him? Don't be a dick. Don't be a super dick. Tell him to go fuck himself, but then list why he should in a calm way. Be stoic about it. But again, no, it's not normal. Don't even consider stopping. Go to the gym. That's absolutely insane. You know you're better than that. Everybody on this chat knows you're fucking better than that. I know you're better than that. And please, by all means, Kevin, send me an email as soon as I get done ranting about this. castleinprogress@gmail.com, bud. And I'm going to hook you up with all of my handicap-related materials and stuff. But, dude, you're going to be fine. The world is full of assholes. The fact that he's so young actually makes it better. It's kind of, in my opinion, a bit more forgivable than if he was older. But no, don't quit. No reason for that shit. Do I train grip? If you want to get technical, no. Because, again, I apologize, but these are always very complicated topics. Typically, when people are referring to training grip, they're referring to some form of like actual physical grip training. What most people think of grip strength is actually grip sensitivity, or how much force you're actually choosing to exert when you perform a gripping action. If you overestimate and you use too much force, like most people do, your grip gives early. If you use the adequate amount of force or only just enough force, you can use grip stronger things, et cetera, for a longer period of time. I train my forearm flexors, my forearm extensors, and I'm quite frequently hanging from my hands from things for a variety of reasons, but that is the only form of direct grip training that I do. Now, I used to be a rock climber a while back, 15 years ago, Jesus Christ, 15 years ago, and I still have all the good muscle memories, and I'm pretty good with grip sensitivity, so that's pretty much why I don't train grip, and I don't think most people have any real reason whatsoever to train their grip, actually. It's a very rare individual who needs to. But no, I wouldn't prioritize it. Just stick to forearms if you want to. The most respected. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those people are fucking people. Is there a way to work out heavy and maximize energy afterwards, not feel exhausted and drained? Yeah, if you're working out heavy and you're feeling exhausted and drained afterwards, you're actually probably going a little overboard. After my workouts, no matter how ridiculously intense, heavy, or whatever it is, I'm definitely tired, but I'm definitely not exhausted or fatigued in any way. I mean, I usually just go shower, have a snack, and then carry on with my day. You might be overdoing it a little bit. Just literally just back it off a little bit, maybe a couple reps, or maybe back off one set. Back it off a little, give it a month or two, check out the results. Worst case scenario, you're definitely not going to lose any muscle. Best case scenario, you gain more muscle because you backed it off. Middle scenario, you have more energy because you backed it off a little bit and you're more enticed to be going to the gym and you have a better mood throughout the day. So just try it out. I was a chef. No, I was a chef. I was a chef at a multitude of restaurants. I ran several. I'll spare you guys the details, but I was cooking from the age of 14. I went to college for culinary school. Then I went to Los Angeles to cook. Then I went to the Florida Keys, Hawks Cay Island. I worked at 3 different restaurants there in my time. Then I went to Gotham Steak as a junior sous chef in Miami. Then I worked with a bunch of big names. You guys probably know a lot of them. I won't be name dropping, but I worked with a lot of big names. I'm not a chef anymore, so I see no point in name dropping. I'm not a chef anymore. But I was always, I did fine dining all around the world. I ended up back in Florida doing high-end catering at the venue. And I did that. I ran that place for 5 years. And that was my last job as a chef. And while I was at the venue, I should say, I was also doing all of my coaching and online coaching and stuff the whole time, because I was only working at the venue like 12 or 14 hours a day. So I had time to be doing my online coaching as well. Wanted to know your thoughts on my workout, but I typed too many words and it cut me off. I watched a video. Yeah, just check out, Bobby, check out the hypertrophy video. You'll find that to be very helpful, I think. No, dude, and Kevin, just back to you. I mean, you can see the appreciation from the comments. This is not a common occurrence. This is not something that happens regularly. Let me dig this out here. So, Kevin, if you're still there, I want you to check this out. This is one of the things I want to send you. So check it out. It says, "Fuck your excuses, bodybuilding." Now, this is for people, well, not to be rude, but people like you. So the first thing is it explains how to make it. And then it explains the stretches that I recommend you be doing whilst in your wheelchair. By the way, I bought myself a nice wheelchair. I don't know if you can tell, but I got a fur on it, but I'm sitting in my wheelchair right now. It's my new office chair, actually. I like it so much. But I was making videos with it earlier this week detailing how to work out at home if you're handicapped. And this is because I actually have 3 clients who are handicapped, and I quite frequently have clients who come to me who are handicapped. So over the years, I've developed many different systems. This is my best one. It includes how to do everything, blah, 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 the workout plan, the optimum workout plan. It shows you how to set it up in your doorway, what to use for weight so you don't have to spend money. And then there are individual flashcards detailing each exercise with the movement patterns, etc. And I just put this up in video format as well on YouTube. So definitely, again, check that out. And again, send me an email. It's linked. My email's below all the videos. I'm going to hook you up with probably this book and some other information you can definitely be using. But guys, put your last questions in. I'm going to end it for the day here. So just any last questions, put them in. I am 33 years old, soon to be 34 in a couple weeks. I'm quite old. Oh, you're a Miami native. Hi, Kevin. Yeah, we should meet up one of these days. I'm in Wilton Manors. Bye. Oh, I know right where you are. Yeah, Kevin. I hate to say it, Trade News Center, but unfortunately, I don't actually think that you're correct anymore. This goes back to the way the world has changed. I'm pretty sure that eventually the kid is not going to get smacked. He's going to keep saying this nonsense, and like the rest of the world, people are slowly going to become more beditized, weaker, more pathetic, with lower limitations, lower expectations, and eventually everybody's going to be talking just like this little fucking bitch. I've said it before many times on this podcast, and well, this is live, I suppose, sorry, but long story short, guys, weak men make bad times, okay? Bad times make good men make good times. It's very simple. Guess what happens when you have good times? That's what we just had, by the way. Good times make bad men because everything's fucking easy for them. So right now we have all these people who can't tell if they're a man, a woman, or a fucking unicorn. They're getting upset about every little fucking thing, including fucking words. And this is because they're not struggling to survive. They have everything handed to them, every comfort they could possibly imagine. And this woke insanity is spreading. And it's because as a civilization, as a species, we've become watered down, pathetically weak. Everything I stand against. And this is why the vast majority of the human population thinks I'm an asshole, as I don't tolerate it, and I don't allow it near me either. Sorry, but anyways, can you start making cooking videos for dieting and cutting in the near future? Mike Farm, I'm not sure what that is, Mike Fam. Dude, I have a new cookbook I just released. This guy. Part 1 is up. It explains absolutely every single thing you could ever possibly want to know about dieting, what you're getting wrong, what you're getting right, how simple it is, and it's a simply laid out 10-step plan for you. And for anyone else in the entire world, it doesn't matter who you are. If you follow this 10-step plan, you'll have the best possible body of your life. End of story. I'll be making a lot of videos about it soon, but it just went up on my Etsy store 2 days ago. Now, the other second part is going to be the recipe part. Now, the recipe part I'm working on, but it's going to be something around 300 to 400 different comprehensive recipes of varying degrees of difficulty. Most of them will be very simple. Also gone over is meal prepping and basically everything you could think of. It's very comprehensive. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it to you. It's probably the most comprehensive thing I've ever put together in relation to dieting and exercise. I mean, it's all the basic stuff I go over with all my clients and stuff, but it's put together and it'll probably step 5 through 10. Most of you guys probably never heard of these steps anyways. You've literally never heard of these steps. Most people don't know what the microbiome is. Most people don't know the difference between saturated fats and unsaturated fats, soluble versus insoluble fibers, etc. I just make it all really simple for you. I'll spare you the details. I want to try to wrap this up here, guys. Let's see here. A lot of... And by the way, I do have a lot of videos up about cooking anyways. YouTube Cooking with Castle. I have quite a few videos up there, including the recipes. Comments here. Can I explain the brick tattoos? Well, that's pretty simple, actually. I am Coach Castle, and eventually the whole body is going to be covered in bricks. At the moment, it's only about 3/4 of my body, but it's going to be either bricks or the musculature or this beautiful tribal work I have done. You guys don't see in most of my videos, but most of me is actually covered with it. And once again, the name is Coach Castle. The company is Brick by Brick. And I've said this only a couple times, but this is a very simple thing I hope everyone should understand. I'm attempting to turn my body, my brand, and my company into a symbol. This will be the symbol of intelligent training and fitness and correcting your body intelligently. I intend to take all of the very difficult, hard to understand science, digest it myself, and then to be redistributing it simply, as I attempt to do very difficultly with my things like my keychain gym, which is an entire gym which weighs 4 ounces, and my intelligent bodybuilding flashcards, which is all the exercises you need, and all of my many books, and my 600 different lectures on YouTube, and my hundreds of different articles, and my 4 different books, and all of my lectures. I'm trying to distribute the information so that everyone understands how to be healthy, how to stop being unhealthy, how to take control of their body and their mind, and how to use themselves as a force for good, which is what we should all be striving to be. We should all be attempting to become the best possible version of ourselves, as strong as humanly possible, and then harness that power, stay away from the bad stuff, only go for the good stuff, help other people, and make this world better. And in order to make this world better and to help other people, you got to get your own shit together first, and then you have to intentionally focus on being good. And that's a lot harder than people realize. But that's what I do. That's what the tattoos are for. Eventually they'll cover all of me, hopefully before I die. Hopefully I'll be able to create this company and lead the world as I want to. And yes, I know how egotistical that sounds, but if you don't dream big, nothing's ever going to happen. I've been working as hard as I possibly can for the best part of 12 years now, day and night, constantly with the goal of making this happen. All of my many books, articles, everything, my videos, everything is done personally. I am a one-man army, guys. Again, I don't want to get all victimizing myself here, but I work really, really hard trying to get this stuff out there, and I know eventually I will be, hopefully, rewarded with helping a lot of people. But anyways, so that's it for the day, guys. What I got here? Don't cover all my muscles. No, I'm probably going to leave a couple things open here and there. But most of my muscles that I don't want covered, I'm actually going to cover with the actual musculature of the muscle itself, like my chest has and like my back has, so I can use them for lectures and demonstrations. People can see what the muscles look like. As for Doug Brignoli's variation of the pendulum squat, once again, a lot of people, again, I don't really talk about it, but yeah, Doug's been my mentor as well as kind of my father for about 8 years now. And yeah, we were talking about that for a long time, the pendulum squat. So that's his version of it. I have a tire version of it. It's the opposite of it. It's where you use a tire on the ground to get the same effect. Think sissy squat, but without the cables being held in your hands. I mean, again, if anybody's curious, me and Jerry, we just did a video about Doug's autopsy. Jerry was nice enough to do the talking about the autopsy. I frankly couldn't do it. But guys, I have a couple of videos planned where I talk about several of the things me and Doug used to bullshit about, tell some stories about Doug for you guys. I know a lot of people loved him and didn't know that much about him, so I'll share some of my personal experiences. And just some other stuff. I mean, not to be a downer. I mean, I'm still a little bit, I'm not over it yet. It was very sudden. We had a lot of stuff planned and coming up together, and it was just very sudden. But anyways, guys, we'll see you again next week. Kevin, please make sure that you hit me up via email. And anybody else who's, you want coaching from me, just hit me up for coaching. It's super cheap. It's usually only a couple months. I do online, in person. It's all good. If you want to support me or the channel, go to my Etsy store. Everything there is $1, $5, $10. It's dirt cheap for a reason. Check it out. My information, frankly, is second to none, and you won't find it anywhere else. It'll save you a lot of trouble digging through my YouTube videos, too. But if you want to do that, I got over 600 different lectures on YouTube, soon to be over 700. And if you guys are able to, please, any video of mine that you check out, leave it a thumbs up. Leave something in the comments below, a smiley face for the algorithm, a thank you, I didn't know that, anything. Those all help me, again, get my YouTube channel bigger, expand my reach, and again, accomplishing my goal even more. I'm not an idiot. No castle is built alone, and I certainly can't accomplish my goal without the aid of you guys. You're all wonderful with your support. You guys are all grateful to be here. I'm grateful to have you guys all here, and I love chatting with you guys on Sunday. That's why I do this. And yeah, so I'll see you guys all next week. Everybody have a great week.